So my podcast, I don't know if you've listened to any of it, but
Yeah, I caught one. Um, that was a while ago then.
yeah, that's basically where I just sit down and talk about like actual encounters that have happened to me. But is it real?
Yeah, I mean that's fascinating. You've lived a weird and wonderful life from the
Oh
sound of
yeah,
it.
I'm hoping to just get weirder with it, like that's my goal every day. So, have you personally had any like weird encounters?
Yeah, I mean I had one as a kid. Because um, I was that kid who always got up really early, no siblings, so it was just me kind of amusing myself, playing imaginary games and stuff. And my doorway to my bedroom looked out into the hallway, and my parents' room was like directly to the side. So if they came out, I could see them walk past, kind of their feet would walk past the door. And one morning I'm sitting there playing. I had these little cars, and I used to make massive long kind of traffic jams and stuff. And I'm looking, I see these feet come out, and I'm thinking, oh, one of the parents is up. That's cool. So I go running out there and jump into their beds, and they're both still in bed. So whatever these feet were, they weren't one of my parents' feet. So that was kind of cool.
Ah, I would have freaked out.
Yeah, I was a bit kind of like it only dawned on me kind of a bit later that how weird that was. So I was like, is there someone else in here? Like that would have been freaky in itself. But yeah, apparently not.
I have a story kind of like that, but with a really good twist. So we have like this little town festival, right?
Yeah.
We have a local bar. That's like really all we have. Like we had a gas station, and then they were like, nah, no more gas stations, just the
Huh.
bar. So like
Okay.
that's what we have to offer. So we have a little festival once a year, and people come from all over to go to this thing,
Right.
especially this bar.
Okay. What's
Yeah,
the food?
we wake up one morning, and my sister-in-law, like we all stay over at my mother-in-law's house, and we just kind of crash out. My sister-in-law was sitting there, and they're all sprawled out on the floor, and she thought she had a hold of her husband's foot. She was just kind of like massaging it.
Right.
And then she got up and she was like, honey, why don't you go ahead and make breakfast? It was some random stranger that had got obliterated the night before and just
Huh.
waltzed up in my mother-in-law's house and just was like, well, room full
Hey,
of people sleeping. That sounds like a good idea.
free
Like,
foot
yeah.
massage as well. I mean, great.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I mean, there's the twist. It wasn't supernatural or anything like that. It's just some
Feet.
drunk guy
With different feet. I get
fed
it.
him breakfast and sent him on his way.
Yeah. So I'm curious to know what your main influences are in terms of like either movies or can we share a bit about that, both of us, perhaps?
Oh, for sure. My main influences, like behind my writing and my dark stuff, is my own fears and insecurities.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. Like anything that I have experienced or am afraid to experience, like Perfect Life. I wrote that like a little short story about like a woman who's just obsessed with social media. And like that's my own insecurity. I'm like, man, I post way too much. This is gonna bite me in the ass one day. Like so.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it is therapeutic, isn't it? I've said to someone the other day,
Yeah.
it's quite fun because you can kill off people you don't like, and you can make things happen that you can't in real life. It kind of gives you power. That,
Oh yeah. Now you have an amazing power, like complete darkness. Are you kidding me?
I
Whew.
mean, yeah, I'm
That
glad you
was
enjoyed it. I mean, it's really terrifying, isn't it, when you put something out there and you just don't know how people are going to respond,
yeah.
and especially complete strangers and all different walks of life. But so far, people seem to be digging it, and there's nothing better than someone who gets it and connects that way. That's really cool.
Exactly. And that's, I mean, what was your motivation or inspiration behind that story alone?
I mean, I think it's been there for a long time, and it took about 10 years to really formulate it all. Um, I didn't sit down and write it all in one go. It's kind of piecemeal came together. I think that probably shows because you know it's lots of ideas, and that's why all the footnotes and stuff are in there, and it's kind of like it's pretty condensed, even though it's not that long a book. But it's once you kind of have the concept of a big picture concept of what if we mapped hell, there's so much fun you can have with that. And how would people act? You know, what would the devil do if he was on Earth? And you know, if there was going to be some salvation, would that be through some sort of divine intervention, or just some loner and his robot who happens to get lucky and fight back? You know, I thought that was a much more
Lucky is
fun way
an
to do it.
understatement.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that book. I'm loaning it out right now. So hopefully they bring it back to me in all in one piece, or I'm going to be so mad.
Yeah. I mean, my publisher, he's written some like kids stuff, and he did a special edition of one of his books. Gave me an idea because I've been writing short stories and stuff, and I thought it would be fun to, at some point in the future, maybe after I've got another couple of books out, to return and do like a special edition with added value, extra bits, you know, extra stories, and maybe interview or something in there too. That could be fun.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Now, what's really exciting is I met a graphic artist this week, and we're going to do a comic book version of the first chapter. So, yeah, happening this year.
As you know, I love
Yeah.
Like, what?
Oh, so much. I mean, I'm old enough to have grown up with when like Watchmen first hit, and you know, The Dark Knight. And that was just incredible stuff happening then. And ever since then, I've just loved it as a format. So to see my, you know, characters actually on a page will be quite something, you know.
I mean, you bring them to life on your own, just with your descriptors and the emotions that are behind that. Like a robot having emotion, like getting so attached to a piece of metal.
And like the fun thing about having a god bot is he can be squeamish. He's like, you know, he gets freaked out about all the sex and violence around him because he's kind of programmed that way. I just thought that was a fun concept. A bit like a bit of BPO, but kind of with a conscience, you know.
Yeah, I definitely got like a little bit of like a Star Wars vibe just for, I was like, oh man, I love this. Like it sucks you in. But then at the same time, it's like, I don't know, there's so much comedy behind just that character alone that it's so refreshing to have that in the story. And it makes it so relatable too.
I think you need to balance. I mean, if without the comedy, it would have been incredibly bleak. So I thought, you know, even I like films that you're laughing and you're thinking, gosh, I shouldn't really be laughing at that, but you can't help but laugh anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the Parasite film last night, the Korean one, and even through the subtitles and stuff, it's so well made that you do find yourself laughing, and it's some really grim stuff going on, you know, but it's dark humor and it's fun, you know.
Dark humor is the best. So with your darkness and your dark humor that you definitely have, and it is very much appreciated. I hear that there's a story behind you being asked to leave a church.
Oh, yeah, hey, so that was fun.
That was fun. Good times.
I was like leading a film group there and youth stuff, and they did this radical name change for the church, and it used to be called the Christian Center, and then they went with Zeo Church, just out of nowhere, just kind of ZEO. And I like, but funny bizarre, kind of like, okay. And then when I looked it up, so I was working for a theological college at the time, and the theologians there were like, oh, that means to boil with anger. I was like, does it? Because they say it means passion. I said, well, it's a kind of that's a sub meaning. If you dig into it enough, you can get passion from it. But boiling anger is the main thing. I was like, whoa, okay. So I said to the leader of the church, I said, I think it's a pretty stupid name, man. I think you know, I wouldn't have gone with that at all. And they didn't do any field testing for it. So they just, you know, a couple of them came up with it, and then they spent everyone's money on it, rebranded, did it all. And I said, hey, you know, you could go with a strapline, so stupid names to the great church or something like that. Didn't go down very well. Eventually, they just said, look, you've got to sign up to this charter that you're going to promote and get behind it, or you have to perhaps find somewhere else. And I was like, crumbs, what would Jesus do? Okay, so there was it. I had to go. And
Jesus would not appreciate this name. I'm out.
That may or may not be where the Zeo demon in the book comes from, you know, that passive aggressive, you know.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. Oh my gosh. So what did your family say?
They've just rolled their eyes, just like, really? I'm just yeah.
See,
So
that's me. I'm the person that all my friends know. If you call me family, whoever, do not put me on speakerphone. Like it will be a very bad time for you. You will have a lot of explaining to do.
yeah. Oh, I've had that too. And the thing is, in most of my day jobs, I have to be spokesperson or, some serious organizations and stuff. So I work for Embrace the Middle East, which, we do great stuff all across like Israel, Palestine, Lebanon. We're actually building schools, hospitals, planting trees, you name it, making life better out there. But so I have to be really, on point for all of that. And that's why I think the fictional kind of sideline helps. You can, as a release, you can just go wild and yeah, and if people dig it, that's great. And if they get offended by it, well, hey, there's other stuff out there. So
It's life. It is life, and that's the same with me. And it's so funny that I mean I'm not doing as much charitable work as you're doing, but I am in the people helping people business, and
cool.
having an actual career where you have to be so professional at all times and really caring, and then when these people that depend on you
Yeah.
and love your support that you give them through your job and the organization that you're with, when they find out what you write.
I know there could be a little bit of that. I've had some people, one guy actually put a trigger warning on his review of my book because he thought like religious people might read it. And it's like, I take it as a badge of honor. It said things like, has worrying future scenarios, bad language, grim violence, sexual scenes, and things that Christians would generally disapprove of. I was like, nice. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I didn't think about putting that warning before.
Yeah. So, but that's what he got from it. So that's fine. At least you know what you're getting into. So,
Yes, yeah. And I'm like you. I don't take offense to, like, one of the main questions I get asked is, where do you come up with this stuff? And
yeah.
just like this look of disgust. And I don't take that negatively though. I'm like, thank you. I tried really hard.
Yeah. I mean, I scare myself sometimes.
Oh, I sleep
And
with the light on. I really do.
oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a chicken.
Okay. I mean, but like, if you're ever writing something and have you ever looked at something and just read it back and gone, no, that's too grim.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had a wolf scene in one of my books.
Uh-huh.
And that was, I mean, it was a cold-hearted scene, and I had to stop after I wrote it, and I was just like, I need to pray.
I need help.
Yeah, I need help. I'm calling a therapist. Yes, I just murdered somebody really bad. They're fictional, they didn't feel anything.
Yeah. I mean, Complete Darkness has scenes that were cut from the original. My publisher helped edit it down sometimes. And there are there's some people out there who read the original and they've got like the original cut and the new cut, and they were like, "Oh, you took out my favorite scene." I was like, "I'm sorry about that." So yeah.
How'd you handle that? Being
I mean, being edited, it's, I guess, to make it more acceptable to a wider audience, I can live with it. But and yeah, because people really might start avoiding me if they read the super dark stuff. So
See, that's the issue I run into with self-publishing is I
yeah,
don't have anyone
yeah,
there to
you got no
stop
filter.
me.
Wow.
I just go for it. I'm like,
Yeah.
yep, this is what we're doing now. And then no one's there to be like, that's probably not a good idea, Ashley. And I just hit publish.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
So, but I don't think you should edit yourself. Initially, you should get it down, and then, or you can always pull back afterwards. Rather than stopping yourself if you're in creative flow. So yeah, and my new one has a serial killer in it, which is fun because the death scenes are just inventive and yeah.
I'm doing a serial killer one too.
Ooh, cool. Hey, we can have a crossover, have a cameo of our characters.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Just a fleeting thing, just like we might have heard of them or something, or just name check them. It'd be kind of fun.
Oh, I could make that work because my whole premise, without even giving anything away, is
Sure.
it's based on a guy who wants to rehabilitate serial killers without
Nice.
the use of pharmaceutical drugs.
Ooh, ooh.
And so
Yeah.
he has an entire establishment that he's put together called Eden's Mind, where he brings these psychopaths in and tries to fix them.
That's cool. I like that concept. I'd read that.
Oh, I'm very excited about it. I've been in love with this story since I started writing it. And the whole fear inspiration behind this one is this is just a little hint, but I am terrified of dolls.
Oh yeah, who isn't? I mean, oof.
Creepy.
And it's been done so well now. I mean, I think I had terrifying nightmares of the magic. Do you remember the ventriloquist doll with Anthony Hopkins from like the 70s? Oh man, that
Yeah,
was.
I don't like with the little wooden mouth
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
nope.
And that doll kind of takes over his dark psyche and sort of talks to him and that stuff, and you're just like, no, thank you, that's grim.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then you have my grandmother as I'm growing up, every single year she would purchase me a new porcelain
Oh
doll.
gosh,
And I'm
like
like, why are you doing this to me? I'm your grandchild.
my mother had, and probably still has, a whole cabinet full of dolls that look out through the glass kind of front. And I always used to make sure it was locked because I was always worried they'd get out. I was the kid who threw my teddy bears and stuff out of my bed because I didn't want them near me at night. So
Yes, because they will come to life and murder you.
just never know. Yeah.
Yeah. Toy Story is a lie.
I mean, I'd love to see a horror version of Toy Story. I mean, I guess Chucky's been done, but you know, an actual, yeah, spin on
There's
that.
is it Army Men? I think is what the movie's called, where it's a bunch of little
Oh,
like
yeah.
army dolls that.
Yeah, something like that, isn't it? It's like Small Soldiers. Is that the one?
Yes, yeah, Toy Soldiers. I hated that movie. Ugh. My
Yeah.
brother had like little toy soldier dolls, and I was like,
Okay.
no, absolutely not. Get it out of the house, burn it. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I own some Ouija boards and I got
Okay.
tarot cards.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fascinating thing, isn't it? Because they're sold as games, and like,
Yeah.
religious people would freak right out and say, "Oh no, that's dangerous." I mean, like, it's a fascinating. You can't have it both ways, you know. It's like, is it a game or is it is it actually contacting the dead? Because I mean, that's pretty amazing if you can actually do that for anyway.
If they can contact the dead, then they're just another person that is ghosting me because they're not talking to me at all. They do not want to be my friend.
Yeah. Like,
Oh yeah, everyone's like, you're gonna get your house possessed, and I'm like, psst, and have a free maid. All right,
yeah.
she's gonna
I
do
mean,
her part.
get possessed and get free superpowers. You know, I mean, why not? Yeah.
Yeah, what could go wrong? It's fine.
There's probably a fun story in there somewhere.
Oh,
Probably.
there has to be. There
Yeah.
has to be. And there's been so many Ouija board like movies,
Oh
especially, and
yeah.
I don't feel like they're ever done to the full extent that they could go with it. They just kind of
Right.
halt it.
And also, like the whole seances thing, there's so many of that, but then there's so many fraud, obviously fake ones that through history, it kind of devalues the possibility, isn't it? So, yeah, people want to believe. I read a great book called Attack of the Unsinkable Rubber Ducks, which was this guy doing a scientific study to try and prove some kind of supernatural thing. And it was all under laboratory conditions, had massive grant funding to do it. You'd like it. It's a fun book. I'll send you a link.
It sounds like it.
And then if they manage to get it, then it's going to prove once and for all to the world, that there's something out there. Because that's the other thing. If there is like a supernatural realm, you'd have thought that we really would have documented better than we actually have, and not just left it to the kind of the fictional realms, because it's a big deal.
It is, and I feel like I would love nothing more than to wholeheartedly believe in all of it. But like you just said, like there's really not that much.
Yeah. Did you see Exorcism of Emily Rose? because there's a
Yes.
great line in that film where in the courtroom it says, if you believe in the devil, you have to believe in God. As a kind
Yeah.
of, you know, so, and I've got like religious friends who won't watch horror films, and I'm like to them, hey, those films are the ones that are most reverent about the power of, you know, the cross, about power of God, you know, because he's the hero in that, you know, and he, you know, like that Omen, they're like, oh no, I wouldn't watch that, but he's scared of the Messiah coming back. So it's like, ooh, you know, in most films, the Christian guys are the laugh stock, you know, comedy value things, but in
Right.
horror films, they actually have power and credence. So, curious, huh?
It, and that's a great way to look at it. I always say there's beauty in horror. There's inspiration that comes from being scared and having those
Yeah,
emotions, because you look for things to be hopeful about and to get yourself out of that feeling. Like there's no better time to find yourself than when you are terrified.
yeah, and it's a basic human release as well. That's why we have roller coasters and stuff, isn't it? You
Yeah.
know, because the adrenaline of fear and then being safe again is such a great feeling.
There's no
It's
better
very
feeling.
vanilla, flat line existence. You don't get the peaks and troughs, and you're probably poorer for it, I think.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. So are you going to kind of jump out on your own podcast adventure?
I mean, I'd like to. The first thing I'm doing is getting the audiobook version of Complete Darkness sorted out. So I have someone reading that for me. So that's going to be fun. I loved yours, by the way.
Oh,
I'm pretty much you nailed that. You turned that around fast, and you obviously had a good person just, you know, smashed it for you.
the narrator, Michelle, oh my gosh, like the moment that she auditioned for it, I was like, that wasn't even the voice that I pictured being the main
Yeah.
character. But when she sent me that audition, I was like, she's awesome. Like that
Yes.
creepy voice.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait to see what else she puts out there.
You have to, yeah, finding something like that is great. I have a guy who's got a sort of slightly American sort of accent, so I think it's going to be more universally kind of pick upable. But he did a spreadsheet of the characters and things. He wants to know detail about them. And there's like 70 different characters apparently. I didn't even realize there was that many in the book. So I have to now go through and relook at them and think, ooh, yeah.
You're like, I didn't write this person. Oh, I
Yeah,
did.
apparently
I
I
did.
did. Yeah, that's right.
Oh man, that's awesome though that he's putting so much effort in
Yeah,
really wanting to build that background for each one of
yeah.
the characters.
So like, are they, you know, how would they talk? What are their age? Are they kind of, you know, what their sexuality and all that kind of stuff? So yeah, fascinating stuff. I think it's
Oh,
cool.
that's going to be exciting. I love audiobooks, and the fact that we can just have our own audiobooks produced now like is
Yeah,
amazing. I
it
want
is
to do
great.
it to all of them.
Yeah. So one of I'd be the trilogy of having, you know, the novel, the graphic novel, and the audiobook. That would be so cool. And then obviously one day the film rights or a Netflix series or something. You know.
Oh my gosh, I
That'd be
would
great.
binge that. I
Yeah.
would, it needs to
Imagine.
be a series, not a movie. Like I need this to carry on for like a week.
And we live in an age now where TV is so good. Like when I grew up, we had 3 channels and couldn't record anything. And now there's more good TV out there than I can possibly consume. You know. Yeah. So.
And most of it, I mean, I found so many like hilarious or amazing series that are just on YouTube.
Oh,
Like
that's
just
good.
little
Yeah.
like 30-minute YouTube videos that are free to watch. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is mind blowing. The
Yeah.
writing behind it.
Such content. I mean, some of the fan films as well. I mean, one of the earlier ones I saw was someone had done a Batman meets the Predator or something, and like it was so well made. It was such a great piece of fiction they'd created, like
Oh,
special effects and things. I was like, ooh, amazing.
anything around that is, it has to be awesome. Like
Yeah.
anything.
So, how far are you along with Lily? Is it done, or is it like?
Um, Lily will be out in July of this year, and I will have a completely finished, like edited and ready for beta readers probably around May. Give me a couple months to have some beta readers just look at it, let me know if I've missed anything.
Yeah,
I've been editing as I go with this one.
well, that's interesting.
Yeah, It's been
Does that slow
crazy.
you down? Because you can spend time going back and doing it again and again and not move forward. Um,
Yeah, it's very time consuming, but I've been doing basically, I sat down and maybe I didn't edit completely as I went, but I sat down and wrote everything. I spent a month each on 2 chapters.
mhm.
And then now I'm in the process of going back and editing and fixing, just tightening everything up. But
Okay.
a longer process than what I generally write, I guess,
Yeah.
is what it's been.
I think yeah, for the second one, I'm kind of writing it scene by scene, and then I'm going to stitch it together. I haven't quite landed on the full arc, story arc. So I don't know how it ends yet, which is quite exciting.
Oh, that's every time I blind write like that.
Okay.
I get the general concept of what I want,
Yeah,
and then I just let the story happen.
I think that's
So,
a fascinating way to do it
yeah,
because
I'm just as surprised as the readers.
I've got friends who've plotted everything out to the nth degree, and they know, it's like a jigsaw for them. They know how it's going to end, and I'm not sure. I guess you get to that stage at some point, but yeah, it's a different way of writing, isn't it?
Yeah, for me, I'm such a procrastinator and I get bored so easily that if I know how it ends, I'm like, well, I know how it ends, so I'm not going to finish it.
That's a good point. Yeah, because there's so much to do in life other than writing. Where do you write? What's your spot that you get creative?
I write a lot of times right here. Like I have my TV is like my computer.
Okay.
So like this is it's our bedroom. I am married
Yeah.
or whatever, but this is my room.
And is your man good with that?
And I have an office. Like I have an office. But I guess this is just where I feel the most comfortable. And I mean, if I'm getting frustrated, then I'll just take a nap. See, it's just right
Yeah.
there.
Oh, I'm all about naps. I mean,
Yes.
I can't believe as a kid I used to not like having naps now. I'm like, it's a treat. Gosh.
Yeah. Bedtime is my favorite. I get so excited. I'm like, it's time for bed. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Better than ice cream.
I mean, yeah, and they say getting older sucks, but like I'm hoping that the tech gets to the point where they can do like the Matrix thing. So I'm looking forward to spending my old age as as Neo or someone else in
Oh,
a virtual reality.
I call Batman. I will
Oh,
be. No, I'll
okay.
be Deadpool.
Deadpool, yeah,
Yeah.
see that.
Oh, I could do it. Maybe.
But that's the joy, isn't it? And that's what I kind of liked with Complete Darkness is the head chip where you go with that. Um, I met some of my former work colleagues, and they're all female, and they were like, "Oh, hey, so there's no real strong female characters in Complete Darkness," so they give me ideas as to what they want to happen in the next one. And one idea I really like is the fact that if in the future the head chip you have is kind of synced with a warning database of like dodgy guys. So if you're in a bar, your head chip will have hacked it, so the guy won't know, but you'll know that he's dodgy, so you can avoid him or just whatever. So
Yes.
the female empowerment, I thought that was kind of fun. So
That's a
yeah,
lot of fun.
it's definitely happening.
Oh, that'll be awesome. So are you nervous about doing like a female lead?
A little bit. I don't want to be a guy who, creates a female lead and girls just go, well, that's not like that. So
Oh,
they were telling me stuff that also is really helpful. So they're saying like the first thing I do when I get in is like hair up, bra off, and I was like, I'd never have my character do that, but I will now. So yeah.
oh yeah. The best way, and I hear so many like male authors say, they're nervous about doing a female character because you've got all these possibility of females just kind of attacking you for how you've portrayed this character.
Yeah.
But I mean, women ourselves, like we are disgusting. I mean, we are just gross. We are just
Okay.
like men, probably worse.
You just don't let off about it. You just let the
Yeah,
whole
I
thing
mean, as long as I feel like as a majority, as long as we feel like we're not being made to stand out in a basic way, I guess is the
like
cool kid
objectified,
say it.
whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we're just like, I would write it exactly how you would write any other character, except she's got boobs.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll look forward to your thoughts on it. That'll be fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just normal person with boobs.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I would like that. Just make her completely like sarcastic and raunchy, but then at the same time she's like, I love your shirt. That's so cute.
Yeah, a little cutesy bit. That's. I don't think that's. Yeah, I have some gay friends, and I love the fact they can just flick into that, and it's cool, you know.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing of being kind of like your normal straight white guys that you kind of like if you act a little bit like that, they'll just go. Yeah, but I quite like dressing up, and you know, I love like that sort of opportunity to be a bit flamboyant and stuff. Just don't
Oh
tell me.
yeah. And see, being an author or writer, whatever, like that gives you so much excuses to do so many different things.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
I'm a writer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is all research. This is research work. Like
That's my answer for everything. It's for research.
yeah, and wow. So have you got an end game? Have you got like a number of books you want to get out, or you know, or you just gonna to see how long it runs and go with that?
I like the idea of I love the idea of making this my career. Like this is my main focus. I mean, who doesn't, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I would
wow. Yeah.
I would love that. But at the same time, I love the freedom of it being something that I'm doing because I love doing it, not because I have to do it or I'm
Yeah.
under a contract or
It's almost like you can't help yourself do it. I think those are the writers that I can relate to. You know, you write and you'd write even if you never got published. You know, you had to do it.
yeah, and I feel like I will just keep writing until I don't have any more stories to write about, which I
Yeah.
don't think that would ever happen. I work for the public, so I
Yeah.
always have inspiration for something to write about.
Sure. Yeah, that's another thing, isn't it? Every day you meet people or you see something and it just sparks off ideas. So yeah, you're right.
So many ideas, so many. And now I'm like, what, almost 2 years into this, so many ideas, so many. And now I'm like, what, almost 2 years into this at this point, actually being published. And now my friends are just starting to be like a little standoffish when they talk to me.
Huh.
Is this going in your book?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe.
Do you get them to sign a little disclaimer? Like anything you say can and may be used, you know?
Probably will.
Probably will, yes.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, they're
cool.
just now starting to get like that. So that's interesting. Do you run into anything along those lines? Like how's your wife kind of handle you being a fiction author? She's an author herself.
She is. And our books are so different because hers is like a guide to family ministry and mine is like dark, disturbing sci-fi. So I think the crossover between the two is going to be limited. She handles it well. And I didn't put her in the first book purposefully. And I asked if she was minded about that. And she's like, well, not really. And then a bit later she came back and goes, you could pick me the next one and make me some sort of ultimate female. I was like, okay, well, fine. Okay, that's no problem.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
My family, they just don't even care. They're like, I'll walk down the hallway and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I just got another review. And they're like, wow.
Oh, that's brutal. Gosh.
I know.
Um, I have an aunt she's never married. She's just like lives her own life, and she's one of the assassins, J&G, like based on the old women. And she picked that up straight away. She was like, "Gosh, thanks for making me an assassin in your book." And I was like, "Okay, that's fun. I'm glad it's nice when some people twig, and that she wasn't too pissed off."
I love that people want, like, I do like when people ask me, hey, will you put me in your book? And my books are so much different because no one makes it out. Like, pretty much everybody dies, you know? Like, it's not going to be a good time for your character.
Yep. Everybody dies. That was the working title I started off with in my book.
Yes, I love that.
It's a bit of a plot spoiler, though, you know.
Everyone dies.
Yeah.
I love that. Please make that the title. Lisa's subtitle.
Yeah. Oh no. Do you want to know the subtitle? Because
Yes.
in Soul Trace, which is the second Dark Matters book, right? It's all about we find out we have souls, and the authorities can trace them and like run a trace. So I'd see if we ran a trace on you, everywhere you'd ever been, there'd be a little ghost of you, and then we could track your life and everything you've done. And they try and do that on the serial killer, but it jumps. There's like gaps in it. It's not like a linear trace like a normal human. There's a reason for that. I won't go into it now. But a friend of mine were talking, and he came up with the best strap line I'm definitely going to use. And it works very differently when you see it written down as to when you hear it. So it is, our souls are all around us.
Ooh.
Our souls are all around us.
Yeah, I like that. Especially with what you just said, like the little tracers of where you're going. Is that kind of a hint?
True, but also there's so many arseholes in the world. You get the play on
Get
words.
it! Oh my gosh. I'm one of those.
So when you see it written down, you read it, and it's like you won't get the kind of the exactly like you didn't. But when you
I didn't.
you're like, oh yeah, okay.
And that truth there's so much truth to that.
True, yeah. Unfortunately.
Oh God, I love that. Your friend is very clever. Do not ever get rid of them.
No, that's cool. So I'll have to credit him somehow. He's a vicar, actually. It's kind of fun.
Oh, that's amazing. I had back in my serving days.
Yeah.
How I started out was a little server. I had a priest that would always come into my restaurant, and I loved him. Oh my gosh, he was the funniest guy I ever met, and he would always request if we had a new server to be sat in her station.
Okay.
And he would purposely plan out his meal with his tip that his total would come to $6.66.
Oh, that's an art form.
Just to mess with her.
Yeah. Nice.
And the look on the server's face, bringing this priest bill. It's $6.60.
That's cool. Yeah.
Oh, he was a great man. He's a great man.
Yeah. I mean, it's good because, like, I think you need the church generally needs cool people to be vicars, because otherwise it's not ever gonna. I mean, it's in a bad enough state as it is, but like, yeah.
You have to have humor. You have to. There's too much darkness in the world that if you didn't laugh at some of it, you would just go insane.
Yeah, for sure. You're right. It would crush everyone's spirit.
It would.
Too much. Yeah.
So have you ever thought about doing any different genres, or are you just kind of sticking with the sci-fi horror?
I'm enjoying the sci-fi horror. I don't think, but I'd never say never. If I wake up one morning and want to do a real romance, yeah, why not? I think you need to carve out a niche for yourself. I mean, my favorite author is Ian Banks, and he had these two iterations. He had his dark kind of crime and drama sort of ones that he says Ian Banks, and then he had his sci-fi range, which was Ian M. Banks. So he kind of just put the M in his name to demark it. Yeah. But he, that was all he was known for. He was known for, dark, grim crime and sci-fi. So it's like, I think you have to pick a genre initially. But yeah, I'm quite a noob at this, so we'll see where we go.
That's awesome. I've tried. I set out to write just fantasy, like, cutesy little something that maybe the teenagers would just eat up like candy.
Yeah, that's where the money is, right?
There could be.
Yeah.
Except I couldn't do it. Time. Yeah, I just started killing people and it felt good.
What a quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's admissible in court, right?
Yeah, I feel like you can write any genre. I feel like anyone could sit down. Anyone could write a book. I don't care how uneducated you are. Is it going to make sense? Is it going to be the best writing in the world? No, probably not, but that's where practice comes in.
Yeah.
But I really feel like the best work that you'll ever do is what you were meant to write.
Yeah, it's like your destiny, your fate.
And that's exactly how I feel. I could sit down and I could write a romance or I could write a comedy, but I don't feel like there would be as much passion behind each one of the words as there would be in a
Yeah,
scary story.
I think readers can pick that up. I've read stuff that's obviously just been like, churned out for the money
Mm-hmm.
to attract or something, and the passion is missing, and it really feels that way. When I've read other books that I've really enjoyed, they perhaps haven't been brilliantly written, but you can tell that the author's so into it, and it's, that comes through. So yeah, passion is important, I think.
It is so important. So have you decided on like what platform you'll go to if you do a podcast? Like where would people be able to
No,
look?
I need to pick your brains on that. I literally, yeah, it's another thing I want to do, but haven't had time to get around to doing. So
There's a lot of fun with podcasts, especially with, I mean, just your book alone, and it's just one book as of right now.
yeah,
I mean, there's so much that you would be able to talk about that in a podcast that's going to not just be about your story, but there's so many moments in your story that could be construed as
yeah.
helpful and inspirational and an escape from
Thoughtful
life.
day. Gosh, yeah. Wow.
I love it.
Hey, cool. I'm so happy you did. That's excellent.
Oh, yeah, so you can pick my brain anytime,
Okay. Oh, I
the
definitely will.
whole ordeal. But did you have anything else that you wanted to kind of touch base on?
I think that's pretty much it for now. Yeah, it's been fun to talk to you though, and I wish you well. I'm going to be reading all your stuff as it comes out, so we'll continue to trade notes, I guess, in that way.
Oh, yes, yes. I definitely would love to put your main character as just kind of a mentionable someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll have to at least give me like a name or something like that so I can put
Yeah.
slide them into the story. That would be so cool.
Yeah, and only people who had read both would get it. Do you know what I mean? It's like an Easter egg thing. I like that.
Oh, I love Easter eggs. I do full circles with my writing. Well, you read the Shatton. I mean,
Yeah.
if I lay a detail out there, it's going to come back around. Like it will. It's a clue.
See, I need to get better at that, because like my mind, I've done that, and I have to reread stuff and purposefully bring it back, rather than because otherwise I'm just dashing on to the next thing. So kind of like, yeah.
It's so much fun. That's how I win arguments, though. Full circle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just go around and just argue with as many people as you can. Just full circle your argument.
Right.
Best practice.
I argue pretty hard. I've been told that, yeah, even if I'm wrong, I'll make them feel bad for having a different opinion. It's just, yeah.
Aw. Well, I will get back to you as soon as my friend is finished with your book and let you know exactly what she thought of it.
Oh, yeah.
She's very much into sci-fi.
Keen to know, because I'm still waiting for a really bad review to kind of like, hit up.
You don't want it.
No? No?
You talked me off of a ledge. You don't want it.
Oh, yeah. I remember that night when you had that 1-star mean review, but that wasn't even a critical review. That was just some asshole.
She was so mean.
Yeah, it really was.
That's okay. She's entitled to her opinion.
I think some people devalue their themselves by putting their opinion out there, but
yeah. I still clicked, I found this review helpful.
No way.
I did.
You're a good person. I would have clicked, let's have this person killed.
But the next, the first victim in my book, it's so weird. Her name is...
Yeah, nice.
Awkward.
Not really. Nice. Legit.
All right. Well, I will let you go. Thank you so much for coming on. I can't wait until it's all edited and uploaded, and I can't wait to watch my facial expressions for the first time. I'm gonna be like, da, 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 da. It'll be fine.
Cool. Absolutely. And yeah, good stuff. All right. Cheers. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.